Today I'm going to make beef stroganoff soup, and I'm going to use a vessel that I've never cooked in before. It's a VitaClay Smart Organic Multi-Crock and Stock Pot. It's a lot of words for one thing. It's a very fancy crock pot. It's made out of a porous clay, and it requires a little special care in handling how we put the food in here. Okay, beef stroganoff soup is going to come a little bit later. Right now I'm going to start by making the bone broth in this because it's a stock pot, and we're going to make some nice stock out of it. One of the secrets to using this properly is to not put hot and cold temperatures in suddenly. So I have these bones here that I purchased with some meat on them already, but not a lot, and it has the marrow in. And we're going to put 4 nice bones right into the bottom of this pot. And I know you watched me make bone broth before, probably. We do this because we want our food to be made with less additives and more natural ingredients. Now I'm going to add about 2 cups of shredded matchstick carrots. I'm going to use about a 1/4 cup of just whole garlic cloves. One thing about when you're making stock, you really don't have to make your vegetables look pretty, because some of these you're going to just take out at the end. Now I have 2 stalks of celery. Just going to throw them in there. All right. Those are the ingredients we're going to use for the stock. Then we're going to remove the bones and the celery stalks, and we're going to add the rest of the ingredients to make the beef stroganoff part of this soup. So now you'll see the measuring lines on the back of this. We want to fill it up to about 3/4 full with water. Do you see the line in the back? Okay. Pour this in. I'm starting with about 6 cups in here. I thought that was a good guess. I think that's where we'll stop. So 6 cups of water, and then we're going to put the lid on. Now if you see the lid, it's very feels very much like a pizza stone in the texture, and these are little vents to let the steam escape. All right, now we set this very much like our pressure cooker. It has a slow cook, fast cook, and it can do other functions, but we're going to slow cook right now. Okay, we're going to slow cook, and we want the time to be 4 hours, which you can change it more or less right here. So it'll start cooking for 4 hours, and then we'll come back, and then we'll slowly add some other ingredients after we take the bones out. Okay, the bone broth has been cooking all afternoon. It smells delicious. I'll show you that. But first let me show you the rest of the ingredients that we're going to deal with right now. I'm going to use some kind of stewing beef. This was chopped up so finely it's made for fondue, so we really want small pieces for the soup. You always think about it like you want it to fit on a soup spoon. We're going to use some sour cream as a final step, and we're going to use some fancy macaroni noodles, whatever you think you like. We're going to try these curlicues today. Also, some more garlic, some baby Bella mushrooms, and some onions. Little Worcestershire sauce. And come on over here, I'll show you what the broth looks like right now. Now while this was cooking all day, we didn't really notice the steam coming out of the vents, although it smells very good in here. I'm sure it was. Okay, now in there is some celery, some bones, some marrow, all kinds of stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to strain this. I'm going to take a nice big pan, put a colander in it, and then I'm just going to sift it out with some nice paper towels. Okay, let me just pour it through there so we can separate the liquid. Can you see all the bone marrow and pieces of meat that cooked off the bone? Also the vegetables that we added. Alright, now we're going to get rid of all the extra carrots and garlic and stuff. I'm kind of going to start fresh with this soup. Now what we have left here, these bones still have some marrow and stuff around them, although it's cooked. But I'm not going to give up on the bones yet. I'm going to put this in another pot of water and cook them a little more, make some more broth. But that'll be for another meal, or we can put that in the freezer for later. So just sifting all this out, some nice hearty broth here to use for our beef stroganoff soup. All right, let me clean out the pot a little bit, and I'll show you the next steps. Okay. Now, I kind of kept the pot where it's still hot. The reason why is because of this porous nature of the pot. We want to make sure that we don't do any quick temperature changes. So I'm pouring the hot bone broth right back into the pot, and we're going to put it right back into the cooker. Now, the reason I'm investigating and using this kind of pot is for healthy reasons. This is made with organic clay, and it's a nice way to keep your food without additives and paints and all kinds of things that are often used in some cooking utensils. All right, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly chop up the mushrooms, onions, garlic, and we're going to introduce them back into the pot while it's still hot. While I'm adding all these things, I'm going to get this pot back on the warm mode right here, just to keep everything nice and warm so that there's no shock to this pottery. We're going to sprinkle them in there, and the reason I'm doing this one by one here is so that the vegetables start to get warm before I add the next group of them. There's some nice chunky pieces of garlic. I didn't cut that too small, but we like big chunks of garlic. I cut up the onions kind of like half moons. I think of this as like how you would like them when they're in French onion soup, kind of like that. So nice sized pieces, not too big to have one bite at a time. And we'll separate them a little bit and throw them in. Let's pull them apart a little bit. They'll cook apart. All right, we're just going to mix these in a little bit. I'm going to take a little Worcestershire sauce, sprinkle that in there. Okay, I have these tiny beef cubes. This is almost a pound of fondue size beef. And I'm just going to sprinkle these in too. Separate them as we go. I am going to add a little more water to bring the level up again till it's about 3/4 of the pot. But I'm going to use room temperature water here, so a little warm, a little cold, just so that it's not anything extreme. All right, let's get the water level right here. And then we're going to add some of the noodles. I chose this style noodle because it's nice and open. It's something that'll cook nicely and absorb a lot of the liquid for flavor. Remembering they will expand, I'm going to use about half the bag. Let's make sure that's covered nicely. Now, one nice feature about this pot is it cooks slowly or quickly. So even though we used the slow cooker on the first part of this soup, we're going to turn it on to the fast cooking mode to finish the soup. All right, looks nice. We're going to put the lid on. All right, now I'm going to move this over to the steam or fast cooking mode, and it's set for 2 hours. We're going to come back and check on it in about an hour, and then start to prepare the sour cream sauce that goes into it at the final step. So we'll be back. All right, now you can see this soup is bubbling, looking good here, looking nice. The macaroni is just about done. So what we're going to do is start making the thickening sauce that we're going to put in. So what I have here is a measuring cup with about a cup of water in it. I'm going to scoop out some of the liquid from the soup and put it into the measuring cup with the water. Okay, I'm going to return the lid on there and let that continue to cook while we make some nice thick sauce to put in. I'm going to use about a 1/4 cup of flour, and we're just going to whisk this a little bit. Make sure all the lumps are out, and then we're going to add some sour cream. I'm going to use about a 1/2 cup to a cup of sour cream. And we'll whisk that in too. And this makes a nice creamy sauce that we're going to put back in slowly and let it thicken all the sauce that's all in this soup. See, that looks pretty nice with no lumps. Now, as we talked about before, we don't want to have any shocking temperatures here. So I'm going to just slowly pour a little of this in at a time and mix it. And then we're going to let it continue its cycle here of cooking and bubbling, and it'll come out with a nice thick sauce. Okay, we're finished with the cooking cycle here. Look at that nice bubbly soup here. Now the pot switched to warming mode as soon as it's finished. Let's just take a look. We have the nice noodles, the onions are nicely cooked, the mushrooms have given it a lot of good flavor, and the sour cream mixture has given it a nice creamy texture too. Okay, let's put some in a bowl. There's a nice bowl of soup. Wow. Now, why do we go to all the trouble of making bone broth to put in a soup like this? Because that's the most healthy thing you can do for yourself. If you're trying to improve your collagen level and protein in your body, it helps your muscles, bones, joints, skin, hair, nails, all those kinds of things. Helps your body quite a bit if you use the collagen that comes from bone broth. If you look at a box of beef broth, which you might normally put into a soup like this, look at all the chemicals that you find inside, and you'll find that you can do nicely without them too. So this is to help you stay healthy and give yourself some good nutrition. This is a wonderful soup. I highly recommend it. And cooking this in the VitaClay pot is also a nice healthy way to make your food. And I appreciate that you're here learning how to use it with me, since this is the first time I tried it. But we're going to get good at this. We're going to make a lot of really great recipes and experiment with this. And if you're interested in this pot, I'll put the link on my description so you can check that out for yourself. Thanks for watching my videos. If you like them, please subscribe and come back and watch some more.